He'll focus on monetization, opportunities, diversification strategies, and the importance of selecting the right partners in the fintech sector. Let's call our players up on stage. We have Nicholas Levy, CEO, DoPay, Edgar Talk, CEO and co-founder of Eurisko, Vivek Yadav, Managing Director, PMP Strategy Dubai, and Abdulaziz Kambar, Group Founder and Group CEO, Fimpact Group, and Mr. Rabih Farhat, CEO, Related, will moderate the panel. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, dear panelists. I mean, we've started our discussion earlier, I guess, 10, 15 minutes ago, and we can keep it going for the whole night. It was quite an interesting and challenging discussion. I want to start our discussion with a very simple question. We've been hearing a lot about the mobile operators and the digital transformation, the future, the trends of the mobile operators, but this is the only panel that is addressing a very interesting topic, I guess, and especially for consumers in developed market. We know that in underdeveloped market, access to financial services and financial institutions are quite challenging, and that's why the convergence between mobile operators and fintech makes sense. I want to start my question to you, Nicolas. What are the benefits from converting mobile operators and financial services or fintechs in a market that is quite developed, where access to fintechs and payment solution is accessible for everyone?
So good afternoon to all first. There are two sub-questions. What is the interest for the telecom operator, and what is the interest as a fintech of a telecom operator we bring to the market? So first, the creation, the ideation of fintech for telecom operator came from underserved and unbanked market, because it was answering a simple problem, which was I cannot have a bank account and I cannot carry money and cash on me, so I need a solution to put my money on my phone. So that's where M-Pesa and all the other telecom operators have started to do fintech services. Then it spread all over the continent, Africa first, then Asia. Then it's coming now to more developed market, as you say, because the fintech of the telecom operator are bringing something which is different than the bank and the traditional bank. First, the telecom operator fintech try to reach everyone, including the very underserved people or the poorest people, and not only the digital, techie, savvy guys. And in a market like in the UAE, you still have 60% of the population with having less than 5,000 dirhams. So all that together means that we, as a telecom fintech belonging to a telecom operator, can bring something different, because we can bundle with the telecom services, because we can reach the customer much more easily, and then going to more premium customer, because we can offer the way to pay maid and drivers, because we can then have a wallet with more agile services, bundling with telco also services and additional value-added services. So all that together makes a value for the customer to be both telecom operator customer and the fintech customer. For the telecom operator, the value is quite easy to guess, because it's a diversification, it's a way to make new money, it's a way to get the customer, the telco customer, to avoid to churn, to get value-added revenue, and when it works well, it's a great valuation in terms of equity for the telecom operator.
Thank you, Nicolas. While I think every one of your answers or topics, we will go deep dive into them later on, especially when it comes to monetization, regulatory, and data utilization. I would like to see with Abdulaziz as well to ask him about the benefit. We have a very interesting discussion about fintech and techfin. So I would like to understand as well, or ask you basically, how do you see that the benefits of the conversion of mobile operator and fintechs?
Sure. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and good evening. I think we're almost reaching the night now, okay? And we'll stay for the gala dinner. And my name is Abdulaziz, and I'm an ex-telco expert. Have been in the region between here and Asia Pacific a lot. And recently, we ventured into a new company called Fimpact, Financial Impact Group. So what we're looking at it there is how do we define the convergence between telecommunication and banking sector. So a discussion that I've been doing it in the last 2 to 3 weeks in the region was to highlight to the audiences, okay, that there is something called fintech, but there is something called also techfin. A lot of audiences probably they are not aware about techfin. Techfin is companies who has technology infrastructure like the communication sector. They want to become enabler for the financial institute. Okay? And sometimes they refer themselves as fintech, but in reality, we believe that the definition of that is actually a techfin, a technology financial company that can enable financial services to themselves or to the others. So there is a clear separation between what is a fintech company and what is a techfin company. That's why most of the startups can become a fintech, but they cannot become a techfin. Techfin needs companies like Etisalat, Zain, Betelco, STC, AWS, those who have massive amount of infrastructure. Okay? Even people who are doing application-based services or content management services on the media side, they have the infrastructure to become actually enabler for the technologies related to the financial sector. So as we drive to do, okay, today through the discussion with the gentlemen, we'll try to explain more and more what are the values when we look at techfin versus fintech.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. I'll move to Vivek. And with your experience in strategizing and helping basically financial services and fintechs to go to market, what do you see that are the benefits of these conversions, especially in developed market like the UAE or Saudi Arabia?
So definitely, I think it's a very good question. I think I'll piggyback a little bit on what Nicola was saying about how mobile operators have ventured into the fintech field, right, and why it's beneficial. So let's take a step back. Like the same thing can also be done by fintech as well, right? It's not that difficult. But fintech, we've been working at least more than 50 plus globally, including the unicorns as well. They have 3 or 4 major challenges. One is customer acquisition. Second is funding and scalability. And the third is actually, even if you have all of these, what about customer retention? Now, a mobile-based telco has all of these. You have the customers, which could be right onboarded with the right amount of data that could be used to give personalized services. Then you have a large balance sheet behind to help you to fund and scale. And because you have the value-added products, you have more opportunities for you to grow, right? And I think in this kind of markets, we see value now moving a lot from B2C to B2B, right? And as Nicola was rightly saying in the beginning, most of the we had the mobile-based fintechs that came out were primarily focused on B2C, right? And I think now the value is shifting more from B2C to B2B, right? Why cannot we have the same kind of services we offer to merchants from merchant acquiring, bring back lending into the system, which is primarily done by banks, right? You could have micro lending, you could have products around financing of your mobile phones, right? And also value-added services such as insurance, giving as a platform. And I think this kind of opportunities I very well see in this market, and this is exactly what's been happening and how they are being scaling up in the region.
Thank you, Vivek. We'll go to Eddie. Eddie, knowing that you're the founder of one of the leading technology firms that help many financial institutions in the market to go through, to succeed their digital transformation journey. What are the latest innovation in this areas, mainly in the fintech, and how a mobile operator will add more value to these innovations?
Good question. Thank you. It's nice meeting all the panelists, and thank you for this opportunity. Well, the fintech space has been evolving a lot lately, and with the operators going into the game, we're ending up with actually a lot of players in the market. If we look at the market share that operators have in fintech and basically wallets in the market, and what the digital bank introduction versus the market share of the actual banks in our region, it's still tiny. So this is why this question is very important, because operators need to leverage what they have in terms of capabilities, infrastructure, data, and to be able to create innovations for customers. So the question is, why would I want to use DoPay or STC Pay versus my 4 or 5 banks that I work with? So here comes the customer segmentation, and understand your customer. Who is your target market? So you could be targeting youth. When you target youth, you gotta put in some products for those youth to be able to use those services. And technology comes to empower that. So putting customer experience first, this is where technology comes in. What kids want, what teenagers want. Maybe I integrate with Roblox. Maybe I integrate with all those tools that we end up paying every day. So doing this could create this user journey and could bring in technologies that empower it. Another example is when we go into families. Innovations in open banking, for example, could help a lot. Players in fintech and other places. And by the way, fintechs have parts of the infrastructure that could be used to empower open banking. So then people like me can go to their super app, and they can have all their expenses, whether corporate or personal, in one place, instead of going into my wallet in Saudi, the other one in UAE, the other one in wherever we are. So the technology trends that are coming new into that space are trends that would empower addressing direct consumer needs in the near future. Two new trends are coming in. IoTs, it's definitely a big player when integrated into fintech technologies, such as paying, checking out without just using your phone or your card, and blockchain. So I believe in the last couple of days, we've seen indications about the crypto world going up again. So there are shifts in strategies worldwide that would get us in the next 4 or 5 years into people investing a lot into digital currencies and eventually into blockchain technology.
Great. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for bringing up some of the latest innovation, and I think these are use cases that all industries are looking up to. Mobile operators, fintechs, banks, all existing industries are looking up to be part of these innovations. I'm going to go back to Nicolas. We know that DoPay was launched end of April, I guess, and we've heard, I mean, someone told us that you've been achieving extremely impressive results. Can we know the secret of the secret recipe of how you were able to basically have this big market share in less than 6 months? I mean, by partnering with which exact partner? What was your magic recipe?
Thank you. I don't know who told you that, but he's probably well informed. Yeah, we saw good traction, honestly, on the market since we launched end of April, beyond our expectation, which is always good to be in that position. I think there is no secret; it's just work usually. But one of the things is always to know who we are. So to have a clear plan, a clear segmentation, a clear go-to-market, and to stick to it. I think this is the first secret, is to have a clear plan. So we knew how to go to market. We knew what is our strength and what our benefit to the customer. So the benefit we give to the customer is that, for instance, each time you do an international money transfer back home, you have 2 GB. So it's the only one in the market doing that. And it brings an immediate and very strong value to the customer. So we launched that. And it's appreciated because the customer, each time they do send money back home, there is a fee. But unless the other competitor, they have immediately 2 GB on the phone and they see the reality of it immediately. Another topic is we have some data from the telecom operator. We have the Emirates ID. For the onboarding of the customer, we can remove this onboarding, in the onboarding, this Emirates ID part to have front and face a picture of it. We can onboard directly the customer. So it can be very, very fast. And it's part of the journey to have an application, a service that can work in less than 30 seconds. 3, we go to market using the strength of Do also, which is to animate the customer base, to have a clear message to the customer, to focus on 1 or 2 services. So for instance, we have a strong focus on international money transfer, as I said before, but we have a strong focus as well on our DoPay Visa card because it allows online payment, and for part of the population in the UAE, it's difficult to do online payment. So there is a solution available immediately. We also push the fact to do the recharge, through DoPay. So there is this full ecosystem we are focusing to be clear on the messages and to be strong on the go-to-market. So I think one of the secrets is to be consistent with who we are, to be clear on our messages, and as it was said before, to have a very clear and simple customer experience. And I think this is part of the value proposition we have. It is clear, it is simple. You on board, you immediately have the country, foreign exchange of the country you come from, because we recognize your nationality through your Emirates ID. Then we have a 6 languages application, which allows everyone to feel comfortable, even if you are not totally fluent in English or in Arabic. So we focus on this customer experience. So I would say the secret is to be customer focused and to know where our strengths are.
That's, thank you so much for revolving, if you want to say, your secret recipe. And I think it's not that easy. It's quite challenging to work in a market where your customer segments is dissected into many, many, many segments and micro segments. So I think that you guys have done an excellent job. I'm going to move directly to Vivek. I think you were part of this journey of this journey or success journey of DoPay and many other fintech or mobile/fintech providers. What are the innovations or what are the additional features that you think can help these conversions to monetize this activity? We know, I mean, everyone knows buy now, pay later, but what the BNPL, but what are the additional features that can bring more value to these conversions and partnerships?
I think it's a fantastic question. Maybe I'll try to start from where Eddie left, right? He spoke about blockchain. And I think I saw one of your posts yesterday on LinkedIn. You said the word AI was mentioned 1,400 times yesterday. But we didn't hear much about blockchain, right? But blockchain was the first one to get into, I mean, payments has a big role to play there, right? And I think, I don't know if for the benefit of audience, but the AED stable coin was launched yesterday. It's now become a kind of a legal tender under the PTSR regulation, right? Yeah. So I think the new innovation, first of all, will come as the integration of crypto in a way, or you call a payment token, in coming into the payment space, right? And another good example that has happened is, I don't know if you know about this token called CELO. So Deutsche Telekom is one of the quite sponsors of CELO. It also has a node validator for CELO. And a lot of telecom fintechs are now also exploring RippleNet as a way to do cross-border transfers, right? So I think that's where, as you just mentioned, about the use of blockchain coming in and the crypto coming in, and there's a genuine use cases that we see. On top of it, I think as I rightly mentioned, a lot of the work was focused on B2C, and I think now the focus will probably shift more on the B2B side of the business, coming into merchant accounts, coming into merchant acquiring, getting more on the credit lending side, because we know that the margins that we have on payments are wafer thin. Like those days are gone where you're able to make better spreads, and as Nicola was just saying, right, in terms of the remittances and all. So I think that is gone, plus an integrated app where you might be able to partner with insurance providers, partner with your savings and investment plans. You could, I think UAE is a very big market for IPOs, right? Imagine if you're partnered with a participating bank and you might be able to apply through your mobile financial services app, right? So we see an integrated platform that will come up in the future. I think the telco-based fintechs or mobile financial services move a lot above the value chain for the very reasons I said, is that where fintechs cannot compete. And I think they're in a very excellent position to be able to do that. And we have already seen a lot of examples globally going into that. Singtel is a very good example. MTN More Money has started integrating this. Reliance Jio in India is allowing you to invest in mutual funds, right? So it's just no longer a payment-based app or a wallet that you're providing, but something a lot more on the added value chain, right? And in a way, okay, of course, as a mobile financial services, you can't take customer deposits because that belongs to the banks. But the amount of data that you have is very much comparable to, or even more than at the bank. Because if you combine the geolocation that you have, along with the payments data that you have, where customers are spending, you have a very good opportunity to customize personal financial offerings for your customer. And I think that those are the next way where you combine AI, combine blockchain, go more into the B2B space and create more, perhaps a super app is what we are likely to see in the future.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you for your answers. Abdulaziz, we know that you've been quite involved in the early days of the mobile operators, especially in the GCC region, from Bahrain to Saudi Arabia and to Kuwait. And you've recently exited the mobile, if we can say, or the telecom world to venture into the fintech and the financial services area. First of all, my first question to you is, how do you choose the right partner when you want to do these conversions between mobile operators and fintech, and how would you monetize it?
Yeah, and I think very important is for telco industries or fintech startups, let's say SMEs, who wants to come to our domain, this financial technology or technology finance companies, it's all about venturing with the right partners. Partner is not about technology. Technology is something you can also develop it in-house. The partnering ecosystem and ecospace is about the mentality of the management of the partners, the vision where they want to go, and in their agenda disruptiveness as a requirement, or they just want to go with the flow. Because what we are trying to do now in the region, we are trying actually to disrupt the access to the financial services to the unbankable or underbankable. Yeah? This is something I think if I give you 2-3 examples, it would be very easy from the region to understand how telecommunication added a value to the financial institute. If you look at Saudi Arabia today, if you are a citizen living in Saudi Arabia and you want to open a bank account, the first thing the banks would tell you, you have to have a SIM card. Now, in other countries, typically you can open a bank account and has no relationship with the SIM card, yeah? But in Saudi Arabia, this has been regulated, mandatory was created on a purpose that everybody who will use the bank will have the bank in their mobile, okay? So in order for the banks to avoid a tedious KYC process by asking documents, they use the KYC and identification engine of the communication sector to bring all the data and approve that this is a customer or a person that exists in the country. Whether you are a business owner, whether you are an individual in Saudi Arabia, that's one of the examples where communication is becoming an enabling partner to the banking industry. It's not competing with the banking industry, it's disrupting, making it much more easier on the KYC process. Another example is in Bahrain, for example. most of the shops now, they stop using the POS, POC, point of sales. Okay? Because now we have QR code in most of the shops and a mobile number to actually transact directly between you and the merchant. Now, almost the penetration of POS is dying, okay, in one of the countries in the region. Who enabled all of this was the communication sector. In collaboration with technology partners, they came up with the models that you don't need to have expensive POS and put on it some licenses, and you put on it some warranty and guarantee, and you move all of this. So how do you choose the right partner? I think it's very critical to understand who is the partner, what the partner wants, and are you matching the partner? We should not be trapped to choose partners who are only technology-oriented, because, again, technology can be replicated. But the business model and the mindset of the partner is the actual engine and the driver for the next evolution that we want to do in the technology sector, yes? So, again, I refer everybody, please, after this session, I hope all of you will go at least to Google once and just type FinTech versus TechFin. Read about it a little bit, understand the new dynamic. It has been there for many years now. Okay, so many countries, they understand they have to make special regulation, not the telco regulatory nor the banking regulatory as a central bank. They have to make a converged regulatory between both of them to actually look at TechFin companies. Okay? So it's a very enlightening. When you see that, you understand which partner you have to choose. Is it technology-oriented or is it strategic-oriented partner?
Thank you. And I think this will open the discussion, and I'm going to address it to Eddie. This will open up a bit the discussion about how crowded is this whole ecosystem. I mean, we have 2 mobile operators in UAE, and we have maybe more than 200 or 2,000 fintech players. We were talking about this, Vivek.
Yeah, a lot, 100.
Exactly, even more. And we have 24 licensed players. And then, of course,
24 license of fintech
in
and
CPUE,
two mobile operator.
including that. But of course, there are a lot of fintechs piggyback on them, and I think the number could be anywhere between 1,000 to 1,000. A lot of them fold in 6 months as well. Yeah.
So 24 fintech want to compete against a market share where mobile operators are only 2, and basically they're on the market share. So my question to you, Eddie, is who will own this digital wallet? I mean, it's a crowded digital wallet. I have more than 5 mobile wallets, from my mobile operator to my fintech providers. How this will be consolidated? Who will be leading this, and how he will be able to do it?
To be honest, we don't know if it's going to be ever consolidated. So it's an open market till now. Regulatory-wise, you have a lot of players, it's true. In some countries, it seems a lot. In other countries, it actually doesn't seem a lot. You have the banks, you have fintechs, you have telecom operators who are getting into that space. But I believe the companies, startups, fintechs, telecom, whatever they are, they will compete on a market share. This market share is driven by so many metrics that it is hard to identify all the metrics. But I would say the initial metrics that will drive this market is, 1, addressing consumer needs and pinpointing some areas and some places where people still till today haven't really invested in. I would give you a big example. I've seen hundreds of wallets with even some of the clients we've worked with. All of them have a PFM. And all of them have almost the same features. It's like they tell you how much you're spending. You can set budgets. You can set spending goals. That's it. Great. I'm putting a saving goal that is 1,000 dirhams a month. How do I get there? So this is where fintechs that will mix between whatever they're doing today with loyalty programs. I would want my app or this wallet to tell me, look, you're spending each month 400 dirhams in this specific restaurant. With this card, I can give you a 20% discount or a buy one, get one. And by the end of the year, you will reach 300% of the saving goal that we're putting. This is the world that we're reaching to. We need to be able to go there. And the technology is there. Data is there, technology is there, AI models are there, everything is there. So it's driven by innovation, it's driven by consumer needs. This is where the place, who's gonna own this world, are the people that are gonna address that question. The second thing, and it is very important, is agility. So technology is very, very quickly evolving, and whoever it is, whether a bank, whether a telco operator, whether a fintech, whether a startup that goes to market in the best way possible first will take the biggest market share. It's a race, simply speaking.
Okay. That's an excellent. Vivek, you wanna add something to this?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's
What
a very
he
good
was saying.
observation, right? And I mean, I'm now coming from the fintech side of from the spectrum, right? And we are quite actively involved in the fintech M&A space, right? And you're quite right. A lot of these fintechs, they look quite similar. They're the same wallet, same payments, right? There's not much difference between A and B. And I think in the future, a lot of them will either consolidate or be acquired, or they simply will shut down. And I think as I go back to who will capture the wallet share, the market share, I think, and it's coming back to the same argument I made in the very beginning, is that telcos have a huge advantage. I think success of DuPay is a very good example for that reason. You have the customer base which can be easily onboarded. They have very beautifully designed customer journeys, as was mentioned. And at the same time, you have the ability to innovate and launch value-added products, and because you have a bigger balance sheet behind, right? So I think today we might have, let's say, X number, hundreds of thousands of fintechs out there, but in the future we'll have like what happened in the e-commerce space as well. You have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 players dominating the market, and we might see the same kind of consolidation or the market share leaders coming out of telcos.
So if one to summarize this discussion about who will lead on this race, is basically whoever is gonna offer the best customer experience, the more rewarding experience as well, whoever is gonna give back to his customer while using his services, and whoever is gonna be the most innovative by adopting the latest technology like blockchain and definitely the use of AI. Yeah. I think we still have 10 minutes and 2 minutes for the audience to ask questions. If I wanna go through a summary of, especially for you, Nicola, how do you see the market evolving in the coming 5 years? How do you see that DuPay will be, and I'm sure that they will be leading on the front, using what kind of latest technology? What are the trends that you will be able to see in the coming 5 years?
I mean, there will be the trends also that the regulation allows. So coming back just 1 minute to the previous question, I think there are fintech and fintech. So there are fintech that provide technology services, that provide specific payment gateways, or fintechs providing full range of financial services. So it's also a license game, which means that if you have a complete license, then you can go very strongly on the market, and you can have a lot of product reusing the product of the fintech that can be brought to the market. So some fintechs are also a motor, an engine for the other fintechs. So what's coming next is, I think, just what kind of place we'll find these fintechs like us in the market. Will we be 500,000, 1 million, 5 million customer fintech? I have my idea and my plan. I think we can be growing fast, and we can be strong in the market. Definitely. We won't replace the bank. Never. I mean, the place is already taken. But we can have a very strong value proposition. And as you said, I mean, we need to be strong in what we are doing today. So be strong in international transfer, be strong in payments, so the basic, but then you can integrate the new services and the new technology in these basics, like stable coins, like blockchain and so on. This feed just what the usage of the customer are. After, what's coming next is also customer experience. So how do we improve customer experience? And open banking, open finance, it can be a revolution, but it can be also something simple that can offer to the customer a much better customer experience. So it's not necessarily the big night and the big bank for everything, but all stablecoins, all blockchain, all open finance will help differentiating, and because we are more agile than banks, because we are, I think, more able to target people and to talk to people and to market things and to have a customer experience and a digital experience which is focused on the customer, then we can spread and have a much broader, let's say, kind of a range of services to be brought to the customer. So I'm confident that the telecom operator, Fintech, because of the customer experience, because of the data, because of the customer base of the telco, will be probably one of the leaders in the fintech industry, and that's what is happening in a lot of countries. Look at STC, became STC Pay, became STC Bank. STC Bank is now the largest bank in number of customers in KSS. So let's see what the future will bring, but it will be bright.
Excellent answer. And I feel that the challenge, or not even the challenge, but you say the secret recipe to go back to this is simplicity and making this customer experience and this whole experience simple rather than complex. So if we want to take two outcome out of how you see the evolution of things, I'm going to say regulation or regulatory. If it's open, if it's going to allow you basically to add more product. And second is simplicity and a good customer experience. Eddie, what can you add on top of what are the trends for the 5 coming years that will maybe make this conversion as well replace traditional banks, let's say that?
Well, Nicolas said a lot of things, so I'm gonna try and add to that. Look, I see the digital payment space in terms of crypto is definitely going to be the next payment means worldwide. So we're gonna be able to transfer to each other without going through whatever we're going in today. Now, is it going to be regulated? How is it going to be regulated? And who are the players that are gonna jump in first? And when is this inclusion going to happen big time? Those are questions that we cannot answer, but what I would say that it's happening. It's whether it's in February 2025 or in February 2026. It's happening, and we're going to have our own wallets, our own crypto wallets. So this is one of the trends that I believe has already picked up in the market and is going to pick up to our daily lives. Also, IoTs and smart things are going to come in with the robots big time. So if we see the pace of AI with robots manufacturing and with how IoTs are becoming smarter and smarter, then this whole ecosystem is going to be very quick to everybody to digest this. So this is why you need to be super agile, super innovative, and get along with the trends that are coming in. A lot of work for all of us.
I think so, yeah, for all industries and for all innovators, let's say, out there. Thanks, Eddie. Vivek, what would you add to what Nicola and Eddie was saying on top of what are the coming trends other than simple experience, regulations, blockchain, and adoption of latest technologies?
I think, first of all, they did a great job summarizing, so there's very little left for me. But that being said, I think the mobile financial service of the future will be a lot different, right, in terms of fully integrated platforms, right, where you have more value-added services integrating blockchain, AI. But on top of it, I think also, I think kudos to the regulator, because they have created the frameworks to be able to innovate and to be able to build this kind of service on top of it, right? If you look at it, the 2 licenses which most telcos have or the fintechs have in UAE are PSCS and SVF licenses, and they're only 3-4 years old. Now, as soon as crypto started moving up, they came up with this payment token service regulation, PTSR. So they are creating the right frameworks for the entrepreneurs to innovate, for the fintechs, for the telcos to innovate and come in. So I think these are the new kind of products that we see more and more. And I'm personally very optimistic about the use of blockchain for the payments in the future. I think a lot of fintechs and telcos and banks are already trying to use Ripple, for instance. I'm not promoting Ripple as a product for sure, but I think it's a great way to do a institution-to-institution transfer in a very, very fraction of seconds for the fraction of time that you do, right? I think today we still know that remittances take a lot of time, and you have a Ripple net between two institutions. You could be doing it in, I think, in a matter of minutes and a fraction of seconds. So this is where I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic about regulation and a fully value-added service, a super app that will come in the future, which many are trying.
I think that's a very good addition. Time and convenience. So we can add to it time and convenience. That's how
Exactly.
the future trends. We will close it with you, Abdulaziz.
Thank you.
And I know that you're preaching or you're making a difference between fintech and techfin. I'm going to help you a bit as well. Seeing the trend moving in the region, I think 65% of the population that lives in the region are under the age of 35, I guess. So how do you feel that fintech will be responding or will be replacing the traditional banking in the coming 5 years?
Okay, excellent question, and I will also add to the gentleman something later
Please.
on. I think our Gen Z and Gen Alpha, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, they are becoming more mobile savvy. Yes? So they don't understand banking industry. They don't anymore want to carry a card with them. They want to manage their entire life cycle through the interface of a mobile, not even a laptop. If you ask today Gen Z to go to a laptop to do some financial transaction or to do e-commerce or to do any game payment, they say, Dad, I want to do it through the mobile. I don't want to go to any other interfaces because they're engaged with it. This finger become a magical wand for them. Anything they want, they can just click and tap a few times and something will happen as an engine, yeah? So Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I think, will adopt really to the fintech industry. They become the real user of the fintech. We are a hybrid user of the fintech, our generation, but the next generation are the real driver of the fintech. And because of the fintech, there will become a techfin, where technology companies should also enable the financial institute. Yeah? I want to add 2 or 3 more points, okay, as a summary to my colleagues. Number one, I think either through a regulatory perspective or through the operator themselves who became financial players, they should sit together on one table. Like there was no GSM association before. And I think this is putting maybe even pressure on you, Tony. Okay? Because I think and I believe, okay, that not every telco operator is becoming a financial service player, but some of them are becoming. Somebody has to bring them on a table on a special session. And then because you have Telecom Review and you have this magazine that goes on a monthly basis, I think it's important to put these insights into it. Like what are these telco companies who became financial service player, what they are talking about, what is the commonalities, what is the difference, until a regulatory in between comes and puts something for all of them. Because now we don't know, STC was a payment, then it became a bank. Now what is STC bank? Who is defining that, yes? And why should we call it, why should we call it telecom going to a banking sector? It's a bank just branded as STC. Could be any bank branded, any brand you want, yeah? So that's one element. The second element, I think telecommunication companies, because of their billing engine, they will start to become a processor for a lot of applications in the app industry that have subscription-based model, whereby this subscription model, the telco engine can actually do the billing and can do the payment for it. Yeah? This is something I feel that the market is in need for it. I see Talabat, I see a lot of companies in the region, they are now introducing their premium services, which is something you subscribe to it on a monthly basis. Our ARPU-based business, okay, average revenue user, business is a telco concept. Is not an app-based concept. But now we see the app hybriding and merging to us, yeah? Because we don't have enough time.
Exactly. I'm looking at the time. I really thank you, gentlemen, for your energy. It's the last session. Go ahead, Tony.
It's a really interesting panel. And like we keep the best for the last. No, really.
Thank you.
But there is something really we want to tackle, that there is awareness by someone. I don't know who should do. We talk about 24 license and two operator who doing like in UAE as an example. But you know how many people are using abroad payment app, and after a few years they have, or after a few months, they get hacked, or this app shut down, and they lose their money. And I don't see any awareness from any authority because no one is responsible.
Correct.
Okay, and people are online. It's not limited to app from UAE or from KSA or from Bahrain. It's open. Especially, you know better, Abdulaziz. In the Middle East, here in this region, GCC especially, you have a lot of people coming from abroad.
Yes.
So, and they're not searching only what do or it's a lot having, or what's the regulator of the IFC regulate here, which fintech license. I guess that we have a responsibility as everyone who's in the technology. I will not say fintech only, because at the end, all the fintech is connected through operator. And like here, they closed many of the website, they should start closing many of the app and creating, as GCC, one law to regulate, okay, and create awareness to everyone. So I'm here, I can trust Do, I can trust Ian, but I should not trust, okay, Exco from Nepal, because I don't know if it's in Nepal, maybe it's from Nigeria, where the hack is growing every day.
Yeah, Tony, I really thank you for what you said, because it's very important for us. As a GCC national, we already created our GCC network for financial institute on the banking industry. Yet, in the disruptive mobile sector, on the fintech, we don't have that ecosystem. So it becomes the duty and responsibility of each one of us who is working on that, including yourself, because you have a beautiful platform to bring people on board on an annual basis for us to discuss
I agree,
it.
it's the responsibility of everyone, all the stakeholders. But there is an issue, everyone should really think about this issue. For example, you should create, when you do campaign, that do payment or your safest gateway. It's not just DoPay is good platform, you can use it with your mobile phone in one touch. There is also something really, and I know a lot of people in this country, or in many, they lost money because they trust some app which, they get some high rating, they go people, new generation, they look how many rating in the app, and anyone can buy this rating.
Tony, I'll add one last thing, please, Rabia. I think what we have to do is really, because the telco has beautiful infrastructure, we have to use the AVR technology in order for us to educate, okay, how the financial should be used and who you should trust and not. Not for us. I think we are old enough to understand who should we trust, but I think our concern is on Gen Z. Our next generation,
Exactly.
they sit on Fortnite and they make thousands of friends, and they want to do P2P transaction and so on. And they don't know if they're going through a mafia thing. They know if they give a number or something of a wallet, somebody can steal it or not. Yeah. So it becomes, again, I think the telco has a huge value to do that with the banking sector. Banking are not into educating. The telco is more into educating, because in telco we release on daily basis new packages, new application, new services. We change our behavior based on season. So in Ramadan we have different offering, in Eid and Christmas we have different offering. I think telcos are very dynamic and very responsive to the market, and I think they can really collaborate with the financial institutes, with the fintech, to really educate the market.
To go behind just launching their app.
Yes, yes.
Or promoting their app. Anyway, thank you very much.
I think
Nicola, yeah, please.
As a last one, I thank you, Tony. I think it's a very good point. And I would say that our job is to do three things in the country, globally, and probably in GCC overall. First is, as you say, to reassure our customer. So yes, as do, and probably as Ian, we have very strong security input and outcome, and we need to fulfill all the national security and so on. So we need to tell the customer it is safe, and to do some financial literacy around that. And that's what we are doing with Visa. We have a partnership on this And it's also it's our motto. We are simple, safe, and fast. So I agree we should communicate on that. The second is there are some cleaning to be done, but not at our level, but I think at the central bank level as well. I mean, central bank is supposed to be the only one to give license to operate for UAE national people, and there are some companies who operate without having this license, and I think some cleaning has started, but some cleaning needs to be continued, and I think we will narrow down the number of players in a couple of years. And after, it's about also making sure that we are very safe. And I think, I agree with you, a lot of people have lost money, but around the world with telecom subsidiaries in fintech, globally it is safe, and that's why MTN Money, Orange Money, M-Pesa are valued very
This is why
high
the telco
because it is safe.
should focus on the safety of transaction and fund and everything, and not to use, as we say, mafia or hackers or fake app. Anyway, thank you. I don't know. You will hate me.
Tony, I want to build on this here. I'm right on the right side of you. If you turn right, Tony. The other right? Yeah. So for me, super interesting panel. My name is Johannes from Voda.
Hi, John.
And we met quite a lot in the past. For me, from an industry perspective, and I disagree a little bit with what you said, that we are, as telecoms, extremely innovative. I think we are not. I think we are quite risk averse, and we are very heavily regulated, more than the fintechs, not the banks. And the question is also, what is fintech? So if I look at the fastest growing MVNO in Europe, which one is it? Any guess? Revolut. Yeah? So that is for me a fintech. For me, that's a fintech. That's a company that has launched a bank across Europe, and they have a quite good super app. It's actually more super app than many telco operators that are proud to have a super app. And they are now the fastest growing MVNO. And they are doing this as a loyalty program for customers. But the reason is actually that the acquisition cost for a fintech is around $150 plus a give and take. The acquisition cost in telco is a fraction of it. So what I would like to build on, and looking at Tony's input, is how do you deal with that? Because obviously, as also Tony described, no tourist will come in and download Do or a Dieselart and then go into a mobile wallet. However, they might use Revolut and will see that they can actually download the eSIM and have a cheap data traffic here in the country.
I think it's a very interesting question. I don't know if someone wants to answer, but we still have only 1 minute, if not 50 seconds. We will close it on this note. Thank you so much for your question, and I think it will be a reflection for all of us to come back next year and answer you. So thank you everyone for attending the session. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that final panel, and thank you to all those that participated as well. We'll take a quick picture center stage here before we call on for the final time for day 2, Mr. Tony Eid for the closing remarks. Let's give Mr. Tony a big round of applause.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the 2 days. I hope you enjoyed the conference. And we'll see you, of course, tonight. Everyone who is eligible for the pass for dinner, because we have some passes which is not eligible for dinner, because we have overbooked for the dinner, for the award, in fact, gala dinner. So if not, we'll see you hopefully in 2025. So I will not be long because we have to refurnish the room and now. So enjoy the reception outside. Thank you very much.